Welcome to the fourth and final installment to my response to the Flat Earth propaganda film Level. In terms of actual arguments or evidence that the Earth is flat, there's almost nothing left. At this point, it's just devolved into a hit piece on Neil deGrasse Tyson. So after that's over with, I'll give my closing thoughts on this documentary, just like I did last year with M for Moron. Let's finish this.
Here's a fair challenge here for Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why don't you get off your fat, lazy butt and out from behind your screens and your scripts?
And do what? The movie literally cuts out the rest of his question.
If you shrunk Earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be one of the smoothest, roundest cue balls ever made. That's how round Earth is. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate. It's like pear-shaped.
The movie never elaborates on this argument, but I've seen it before. Tyson's statements do not contradict each other. The problem is that flat earthers can't pay attention to statements that are more than 5 seconds long. Earth is a tiny bit wider near the equator than it is at the poles. To be specific, it's wider by 43 kilometers. If you exaggerate the differences in elevation between the poles and the equator, Earth will look like a pear. However, these differences are so minuscule that if Earth were to be shrunken to the size of a cue ball, as Tyson said, it would be almost perfectly smooth.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's funny, 6 years ago I sent a whole bunch of questions for you to answer. I notice you haven't answered them.
Considering the arguments you used in part 1, those must have been pretty stupid questions. I can perfectly understand why Tyson didn't reply.
You're not a scientist. You're an actor with a couple of science degrees.
No. While Tyson's main focus is to educate the general population on topics such as astronomy, which makes him a science communicator, he has also done his fair share of research and paper publishing in fields related to his degrees. Tyson is a scientist through and through.
There's people with those same qualifications flipping burgers in Burger King.
It's like pear-shaped.
So you don't impress me.
So what? To claim that those people are of any relevance to Tyson's credibility is to ignore all of the massive contributions he has made to science and public knowledge, which I have just pointed out. Plus, it wouldn't even matter to you if there weren't any McDonald's employees with science degrees, since you anti-intellectuals think public education is a Jewish conspiracy or some BS like that.
Neil DeGrasse Tyson, you are a lying
Hypocrite.
Jesuit,
Tyson isn't a Jesuit. He's an atheist.
thug, and a deceiver.
Says the homophobe, sovereign citizen, and astrologer.
Good luck to all your lying when you're down in doing favors for and remember my name when you're in there. Santos Bonacci.
Shut up. You've spent your entire career lying to people in order to sell your awful merch, be it old books full of new age crap, dietary supplements corresponding to zodiac signs, or t-shirts with shoddy JPEGs slapped on them. If I'm being honest, I'd rather start buying NFTs. Considering that you've already had to pay over $100,000 in evaded taxes, it's not like you're an honest guy in the legal system either. The only liar here is you, Santos, and you know it. Considering that this is the last time we'll see you in this film, goodbye and good riddance.
Hey Neil, if the level in motionless plane is so easily debunked, so easily refuted, then why don't you just debate Eric Dubay?
Because having such a popular figure debate a woo paddler like Eric Dubay would bring copious amounts of attention to the Flat Earth. The main goal of Flat Earth debunkers such as myself is to stop Flat Earth from making any resurgence and recruiting new members, while simultaneously helping rescue victims from the rabbit hole. Having Dr. Tyson debate Eric Dubay would be a disaster.
Why don't you get off your fat, lazy butt, out from behind your screens and your scripts,
And debate Eric Dubay.
Oh, so that's what they cut out.
You've heard the name Eric Dubay, but you're scared. You're chicken. You won't debate Eric Dubay because you don't have a script and lines and people telling you what to say.
Even if that were true, the exact same thing can be said about Eric himself. He has repeatedly been asked by debunkers to debate him live, and those requests are always met with radio silence.
You already agreed to debate me on Joe Rogan's podcast. The show was scheduled, posted on Joe's site, announced on air twice, and then you suddenly decided that you, quote, don't debate flat earthers. What happened?
What happened was that Neil realized what we debunkers all knew from the start. It would attract unwanted attention to the subject. As I've already explained, Flat Earth is dangerous, and giving it publicity would be awful. Instead of debating Dr. Tyson or another popular figure, how about you debate MC Toon? FTFE? Simon Dan? Heck, why don't you debate me? I'm available on weekends. Hit me up anytime you like.
I'll tell you what happened. Someone at NASA told Neil, "We're not going to let you go head-to-head with Eric Dubay, because he'll make you look foolish." Prove me wrong.
Yes. What better for way to end an intellectually bankrupt film than with an argument from ignorance? I can't think of one, that's for sure. Well, that's it for Level. On to the closing thoughts. Level is an arrogant, lazy, imbecilic, and hypocritical trash heap of a film. It is perhaps the worst film of not only 2021, but this entire past decade. This movie is entirely devoid of any honesty or consistency, be it in its claims, its producers, or even its own rating and trailer. At one moment, it claims that the sun sets because it reaches the point of convergence, which they call perspective, and then the next second they show a video where nothing reaches that point, disproving their own argument. They use the fact that one of NASA's head members was a former Nazi as the proof that NASA is evil and deceitful, even though its own narrator thinks that the Nazis were good. Level's PG version cuts out all the swear words with the classic bleep noise, except for when it gets lazy and doesn't. The trailer claims that science regarding Earth's shape has yet to be settled, yet all of the movie's arguments were laid to rest so long ago that we may as well start calling them French royalty. The film's producers whine about how NASA is a waste of money, that space exploration is just acting, and that Dr. Tyson is a coward, yet tell you to buy overpriced scams from their websites, make a movie that is only watchable because it's stupid on a comedic level, and is narrated by a producer who refuses to debate anyone other than Tyson. I wonder why. Perhaps what's more ironic, however, isn't to do with the film itself, but rather the people who watch it. The anti- and pseudo-intellectual movements that were flung into the mainstream by Eric and crayon munchers like him have continued to spread BS throughout the world. We've all seen it. It's the thing I combat. It's the thing that us debunkers as a whole combat. On the bright side, I just hope that you can enjoy my fight against them, as I certainly do, despite the aneurysms, and that my efforts as a debunker help even a single person realize the most ironic thing of all. That the people holding up signs claiming idiocracy was a prophecy are all a bunch of Fritos. Thanks for watching.